Greetings, this is Nobbler, and welcome back to The Quest Continues in a Door. In this episode, we will be continuing the main quest line for as far as we can for this video. So in the last episode, we left off with having just obtained a new creature and had beaten, I think it was 7 Mikras to progress the quest, and now we need to find Belina's older brother, Bikoro. Bikoro is in the Kiha Mountains. And here in our quest log for the objectives, we see that there's an exclamation point under one of these, which indicates that's the quest. But as always, I like to check all of the quests that are available, including previous depths or difficulties, just to see what other resources might be there to obtain. Some good mushrooms here with the healer benefit. A chest key. It's all on tier 1. Both of them expire in 1 turn. 2 turns left on a fragment run. So we have 4 turns left on this quest. I think it would be wise to begin by just running one of these earlier level quests. And get us another key. Or do we want 2 healer mushrooms? Nah, forget about it. Let's just go on and get this quest done, you know? So here we go into the Kiha Mountains looking for Bikoro, the older brother of Belina. At this point in the game, I think most of my creatures that I have to summon are pretty well equipped with their traits. So I'm not terribly worried about food. And we do have 2 keys in stock, so I'm not too worried about that either. I do come across the chest. We'll have 2 opportunities to open those. And what we really need right now is essences so we can build synergy between our different creatures. In order to get those essences, I will have to capture arcane and mystic creatures because those are the synergies that I'm trying to work on with my second team. Gold isn't much of an issue at this point either because I have been farming so much. My progress isn't far enough into the game to get the level 2 or level 3 items that I need to improve my artifacts. So to make sense of that, every adorer can equip the artifacts. And to improve the quality of these from 1 star to 2 star to 3 stars requires higher level materials. Which I don't know if we can see the inventory from the in-game menu. Something that they might add in the future to this game. But I don't think that we can look at our inventory of crafting materials until we're back into this town. But once we get there, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Every little piece of bone, stone, feather, skin, things like that has a plus sign above it, or 2 plus signs, or 3 plus signs. And that indicates the quality of that. try to capture this little Abu once we kill this frog. Lava frog. This Abu is Mystic. I'm sorry, not Mystic. The other one, Arcane. There we go. And so an Arcane creature is going to give us an essence that we need. There we go. Good job, Kruth. And we're going to go ahead and just do one hit with... Oh, what's that creature's name? Doesn't matter, I suppose. So for this capture, we need to be in this hemisphere. Oh, and the creature's running away from us when we try to capture it. That's annoying. There we go. So we've got Abu, and that gives us one small arcane essence. Hooray! Zaya, that's what I was trying to think of. Zaya's our heavy hitter. Took some damage from those lava frogs, but that's alright. We got an arcane essence. That'll be useful to build up those synergies on the second team that I run. And be able to heal up Zaya in no time, because not only do we get healing orbs when we get a kill shot with Zaya, but there's also a small chance they'll drop from these ceramic vases. Gotta say, I like the healing team. It's proven to be pretty effective for progression. And I think we've got all the mats that can come out of this level. We found the feather, we found the mushroom, and we found the fragment. Here's another Abu that we could capture if we wanted to. Let's Frosty here first. We're starting to get swarmed. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Alright. So I just took Abu down by mistake because I was hoping the other creatures would have stayed in combat, but they retreated. So instead we're going to capture this one. Smaller arc. Yeah, there's two essences we have. Wonderful. So we'll be farming up a couple of more particles of Gator Drick to make sure that we can continue to capture creatures, and with 2 arcane particles, we should be able to build some synergy onto our mystic creatures. I usually like to have 1 mystic creature with an arcane, 1 arcane creature with an arcane synergy, and then vice versa. So there's just an increased probability that you will always have synergy depending on which creatures you use the most frequently, and how well they work. So far, this level's pretty standard. It doesn't seem to be more difficult than a regular level at this stage in depth. And if you didn't see the previous episode, my creatures are slightly higher level than they need to be. Just because I have been doing a lot of farming in this game, so the result is that they are now higher level. Average, they're about level 4. Still working on Bodine's level, so maybe we should run him on the primary slot for a little while. Now here on the map I see that there's a different color arrow indicating that that must be the end stage. I don't know if there's going to be a boss fight, but we'll soon find out. What happened to Bikoro? Here we go. Uh-oh, looks like we have to fight him. There's a health bar at the top labeled with his name. He's a big boy. It's one of those bomber squirrels that I haven't been able to capture yet. I wonder if we can capture the things that he summons in these fights. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh no, Bea's been cursed. Voden's been cursed. It's gonna be up to Kruth. Kruth is down. This guy is tough. Doesn't play nice. And there we go, I lost. So as I'm sitting here bragging about being too tough for the content, apparently my play skills aren't good enough. Here we've got a bunch of creatures that have been cursed, so they're going to have to sit out for the round, which means we're going to go on a just generic run. With our second team. And we did capture a second Abu. This one here, actually. Brand new level 2, we're going to release that. The only reason we really captured that was just for the essence, and we've already got one that's slightly higher into level 2 already. Now we've got an open slot, so we can create a bond with this Obix that we captured, which is a creature that they're just a little too slow for my taste. They stay in combat for a while. They've got a short range, single target attack with repeated hits. So not bad with the damage, but they're just not a very strong character for what I find my style to be. So we're going to release this one too. Let's take a look at the Arcane Synergy, see what we can build with that. Currently we have 2 creatures with Arcane Synergy, one with Mystic. So let's put an Arcane Synergy onto Apu. Choice of, see, Apu does more damage with each hit in sequence. So damage stacking increases that, or to increase the number of orbs in the special. So when the special fires off, to get an extra orb in that spread, which I think is good because that could hit the same target multiple times. So we're going to go for that, and we're also going to give Zarki a Mystic Synergy. So we could get one extra attack out of this special, or gain damage bonus. I'm assuming for the next attack when a mystic creature hits a target. So I'm thinking Divine Motion probably looks like the best option here. And I think that's all we can do for now. So let's make Grian our magic slot. Abu will be our backup in 4th slot. Felwyn is our primary DPS, and Zarki is our heavy hitter. And that's just the way I like to do my layout. Left click is my DPS, right click is my heavy DPS, middle button is my magic or magic-based attack, and then the mouse button 4 is just whatever creature I have to fill in the gap if one of my main creatures, is cursed, or possibly for a special arcane charged move, other special abilities for the creatures. So let's see what we can run and what kind of quests are available at this point. So we've got 3 turns to get all of our things back from this quest. So not too worried about that. Let's check Depth 1 in Gatordrick. Nothing very useful there. I mean, fragments are always nice. I guess we could just run and grab a fragment real quick. Unlock some more slots or upgrades. And then after this quest, our main team will be healed. There's the fragment. There you could see with the special ability of Zarki that when it struck with the lightning bolt, it did a dash attack, hit one enemy, and then dashed a second time and hit the second enemy. So that is fantastic. And here is a new relic. I don't know what to call them exactly, but awesome. That's one that I didn't have yet. So we got to go to the Tree of Life, I think it's called, in town here, and that will show us what that new item is capable of doing. It might also be a good time to review the different items that are in that collection. So the Adorer's runes can be equipped. You unlock the rune points up to a total of 6 using the fragments. So where it says available rune points at the top, I've got 4 unlocked and 2 that are still locked. The next point will cost me 7 fragments. I allocate those points as seen here. So the green diamonds below each of these runes represents the use of 1 rune point. So if I remove a rune, you'll see that that recharges the available rune points, and then I could choose one of these runes down at the bottom to equip onto my character. It looks like I've collected maybe half of them. So this is bar none my favorite one. It's Light Feet. Have it equipped, fully charged, so at level 3 it increases the Adorer's movement speed by 3. And I think right now in this game movement speed is king. The Bond of Fortitude increases the maximum health of the Adorer, so, you know, maybe for that boss fight this wouldn't be a bad choice. Make me a little tougher, survive just that little bit longer. But I think instead I'm going to focus on DPS, because Bikoro was summoning ads that were damaging my creatures, and then I wasn't putting DPS straight onto Bikoro heavily enough. And I think if I really press him with DPS, that means less time for his summons to damage my creatures, and also less time for him to heal and recharge his shield. Because it looked like Bikoro was also charging a magic or physical shield, and also healing some of his hit points periodically. So that tells me that this fight is really a DPS race. So what we need to do is maximize the DPS on our team rather than try to toughen up the Adorer. I'm sure both strategies would work, but I think DPS will go faster. And this is the one that I've been running, is the Adorer has a chance to drop healing orbs from urns. Heal creatures after you complete a map. And this one, when you die, you get to save some of your gold. Isn't that exciting? And we're just going to go pick that up off the ground, the stuff we dropped. So we'll stick with this rune for now. I don't see the one that we picked up, though, so maybe it wasn't a rune. Let's see if we can find out what that is. Oh, energy dust. Okay, so that was an artifact. Just like the bell that we received from the Mikras in the last quest, apparently those are both artifacts that we can now buy and equip. So stamina regen, that's another really good trait to get for your Adorer. We'll definitely have to get our gold back and try to equip that. One last thing to check before we switch our teams is how much does it cost to unlock that last artifact slot is 6 points. Got it. Okay. So we are definitely going to need to farm up more fragments. Oh, and look at this. I guess this must have been a change from a recent update. The creatures are not healing up to full health after the battle. So the cursed creatures, Kruth, Zaya, and Bodine, are not at maximum health yet. So that makes more sense with the artifact, or the rune that would heal them up. So let's just keep our second team for now. We'll run one more dungeon, just to give our primary team a chance to fully heal, because we do have, I believe, 2 turns left on getting our stuff back. have a beast chest, evasive mushrooms, those are nice, and a mystic chest, ooh, with a fragment. Yes, indeed, this is our next target. Let's go for it. Is that fragment and the arcane or mystic chest? Yes, mystic chest. Here we have Felwyn. We're just going to leave that one alone because we don't need a second Felwyn. We've got one right here to use. There is our first. Very good. So now we should be able to go back to town and see that our primary team has been healed back to full. Get them swapped back in, go recover that mountain of gold that we dropped, and go beat Bikoro. Hopefully this time it'll work. I'm thinking that for this fight, I might switch in a different character instead of the little goat. So Kruth, Zaya, Domer. Now for the fourth character, I think we're going to use Grind. Just because he stays in combat and does some pretty hellacious damage. I think he's a solid player for this fight. So that'll give us 2 magic type damages. Unfortunately, we're not running a mystic creature to trigger his synergy, but that's alright. Make sure everybody's in the correct orders. There we go. Alright, let's see if we can get this Bikoro character to calm down and give us our stuff back. go. Look at that mountain of gold that we dropped. So glad to have that back. And we now have 7 fragments again. So we could choose either to unlock our last artifact slot to equip in the Adorer, or we could unlock one more rune power. Both options seem pretty legit to me. But first, we need to survive this level. 3 directions we could go. Taking some hits here, that's not good. I still haven't quite got my timing down with Kruth. He gets into combat so fast, sometimes when I think that the last attack of the enemy is going to miss him, it ends up just landing squarely in his face. Have to hesitate for a slight fraction of a second before I deploy Kruth, I think. Swamped by enemies. Thank goodness, we need more of those healing orbs, that's for sure. Going into the fight with Kruth at 50% life and Zaya's about 60%, that's not good. Maybe we'll try to clear this last little zone segment. Hopefully we don't get swamped with enemies again, so we'll actually be able to recharge some health. Zaya is just not producing healing orbs. It's unfortunate. Getting a bad RNG on this level. There we go, that's looking a little better. Looks like we found another artifact or something. Okay, so strategy on this fight's going to be starting off with Grian in play, and probably alternating Kruth and Zaya, just to try to spam out some healing orbs. Zaya to hit the adds as they spawn, and Kruth to just press DPS onto Bikoro, assuming that the artificial intelligence of my summons doesn't just path them directly to the wrong target every time. Here we go. Round 2. Now see, this is what's happening, is that the creatures that I summon are attacking the boss while his adds are attacking my creatures. And that's causing a serious amount of health damage to my creatures. It's proving to be a bit difficult to recover from. I think this fight's not my favorite. Go get that DPS on him, guys. There we go. Strange dialogue, come with us. We're in a safe place. Bikoro says, keep her there, and ends the conversation. So is Bikoro protecting his younger sister from some unknown danger? Don't see the next step in this quest either, so let's go back to the refuge. We'll talk to Belina and see what's up with this quest. I think I see where this is heading already. Belina has a quest called The Favorite Meal. Seems like we are going to coerce her brother to come back by offering him his favorite food. Makes sense to me. So we're going back to our Mystic and Arcane team. Might as well get them some levels. Continue to build up their team power overall. And that will give our other characters a chance to rest again. they want me to cook a meat stew with mushrooms and fruit. I've got mushrooms, I've got fruit. I need meat. So I think what I would like to do is have an insect kebab, just to consume some of these materials. Leeching, energy recharge, and movement speed. That's a good meal right there. And that'll leave us with 1 fruit, 1 mushroom. We'll just have to go get some meat, and we'll be able to complete that part of the quest. Very nice. What's the dish of the day? Good there. Okay. So now we have a nice kebab that'll last us for 7 turns. Felwyn has attack speed and movement speed. Let's check the other team and see if there's a creature that would benefit from those stats more. Yeah, I think that Bodine will be the one that we'll give that good food to for now. Just because he has the lowest stats of all the creatures so far that I could feed. As he currently just has +1 attack speed and an increased 15% healing effects, which is going to be minimal. If we get, say, something that gives +2 health from a health orb, it would take roughly 4 health orbs to see 1 additional hit point added. So I don't think the returns on that are very good, so we're going to replace Bodine's current stat traits with this insect kebab, making him move faster, charge energy faster, and leech health with the attacks. And because he attacks multiple times, that will trigger that effect more often. So there you go, little buddy. +2 movement speed. You're a fast little goat. We're going to keep him on standby and run with Abu in position 4. Do a little bit of artifact shopping, see about some upgrades. So the one we just got in that last level is when an area is cleared, recharge all the specials of your creatures by 20%. That doesn't sound great either. So we're going to purchase the energy dust. That one looks like a good buy. Stamina regen is awesome. And it looks like we can only upgrade the gear that we currently have equipped. And here down at the bottom of the screen you see there's wood with a single plus, a feather with 2 pluses, and leather with 2 pluses. You'll start seeing the items with the 2+ marks in the tier 2, but more likely tier 3 zones. It does not look like we have anything to upgrade that's currently equipped. Until we get to a higher tier content, that's as good as it gets. So what if we unlock this last slot? So now we've got all 6 slots of our artifacts open, unlocked I should say. See if we can upgrade that new artifact that we just equipped. It requires 1 basic scale. 265 gold to upgrade. And that'll give us another 5% stamina regeneration. Time to see what quests we have available. Starting at Depth 1 in the Gatordrick Forest, we have a beast chest with some coin bag, the evasive mushrooms, piece of wood and a bone. There's the meat that we need. Some more mushrooms and a ladybug. Okay, so we can get the meat from Tier 1 or Depth 1. 1 particle of Gatordrick, another particle of Gatordrick, bone summons, nature chest, meat. This one looks pretty good too. Not as good as the others. I mean, a nature chest, it's always enticing to think about, like, what's this new creature that we could get? But we don't know for sure it's going to be a new capture. And I do have quite a few nature creatures already unlocked, so I think the odds are not in our favor there. Let's see, Kiha Mountains, Expedition Scrolls, and Particles of Gatordrick. I think just for simplicity's sake, we'll keep to the Tier 1. We'll farm up this meat from this 3rd quest here. That way we could progress in the main storyline. Curious to see after the end of the level if we have Zarki is just a little above half, Felwyn is just a little above half, Grian and Abu have both lost just a little bit of health. How much health will they regenerate now? So all of the creatures that I have in the hotbar have fully healed. And we can see that Kruth still has not healed. Everyone else is good to go. Let's get this mushroom fruit meat stew. Oh. Apparently I didn't have to cook it after all. Oh, it used all the resources that I had, but it did not let me choose which ones. It took the mushrooms that I was going to save and instead let me keep the ones that I was going to use. I would have preferred to use the magic mushrooms on that, but that's okay. It was just 1 point of accuracy. So that's food that I would use to probably heal my Adorer with, just because the stats on this are pretty bad. Health 65% is fine if you're trying to heal, but having your creatures eat food to heal, I think is something I'm going to avoid until absolutely necessary, because it will wipe out the traits that they have accumulated from their meals. And later in the game, after you've found so many of the shrines unlock traits for your creatures. The impact of that food's going to be less, because we'll be able to customize the traits of these creatures to the point where a little bit of food stats isn't going to be as critical as it is right now early game. So food with bad stats to be used for healing just isn't that effective at this point. So now we need to speak to Mina. Mina? You might say that she is meaner than the rest of the adorers in town. So we're going to start noticing new creatures. The deeper you go, the more rare. New zone that's coming unlocked is the Ancestral Graveyard, and the mission is to capture a bird called a Xena. So here we have Depth 3 is now available, access to halfway into the game. Current quests for this, ooh, there's a Statue of Draknar, plus 2 fragments. This looks like a pretty sweet level to run. Mountains, we'd have to fight Bikoro again. Also with a shrine and a fragment, or the monkey boss with a 2+ pearl. In the graveyard, we could get our scale that we need to upgrade that one artifact. Decisions. Those statues of Draknar really have a lot of appeal. And it looks like Depth 2 of Kiham Mountains has become locked. So I'm not sure if that's a bug, because I would assume that as you progress, Depth 1 would be Gatordrick, Depth 2 would be Gatordrick plus Kiha, Depth 3, Gatordrick Kiha plus Ancestral Graveyard, and so on. But here it looks like at Depth 3 we have access to the 3, but at depth 2 we lost access to the Kiha Mountains. That is interesting. So we'll put that up on the Discord channel for the game Adore just to see if that was an intentional lockout on depth 2. It looks like there isn't very many other good options for quests. So I think what we'll do is go for this Statue of Draknar and 2 fragments. I just wonder if my Mystic and Arcane team is going to be strong enough to handle depth 3. Only one way to find out. Oh yeah, piece of cake. These enemies are... well, they don't have a lot of hit points. Felwyn's basic attack is able to take down a standard enemy. That's good news. So that means depth 3 does not have a huge increase in difficulty compared to depth 2. So now each of these characters just earned 1 trait point, so this is not food dependent. Where this plus sign is, you can add a trait. It gives you 2 to choose from here. Leech or Lucky. Definitely Leech. Zarki. Attack speed, yes please, or armor damage is irrelevant. So yeah, we'll take that attack speed. Zarki is a very slow combat character, so getting more attack speed is going to be huge for him or her. Grian. Leech or Reflection. Well, I don't see Grian taking a lot of damage. And if he does, I would rather heal than just reflect 20%. Last but not least, Abu. There are no good traits to choose on Abu, so I think we're just going to bank that point until later and see if those options change once we find another shrine. But cool, we got some traits on these characters. That's good news. Makes the second team here a little bit stronger and a little bit faster. Come on, Grin. Yeah, it looks like this team is having no trouble with this level. Obviously, I'm pretty happy with how they're working their synergies. think the Mystic Arcane timing is just a little bit more solid. Because Abu is able to pop out, start attacking just a little quickly, while Zarki is charging up, staying a little further back than Felwyn. I might actually place Abu into the primary slot and use Felwyn as the backup. Except now we have magical armor coming into play, so we're going to have to use Felwyn. Felwyn has a physical attack base. So that means that Felwyn is at advantage over that magical armor. So the game does get a little tricky, the dynamic tactics that you need to use between each of the rounds of combat, depending on the enemies that you're facing. Ooh, that's a bad hit. Keeps you on your toes. It's not strategic. You don't really use terrain or the lay of the land too much to your advantage in this game, but you certainly do have to make snap decisions, tactical decisions about which characters to summon in which order, targeting which enemies, and on top of that, how are you going to be building their stats? It makes it fun. In some ways, I'd say the game is almost a little too complex. Adding the physical and the magical attack types, I think wasn't a really good choice just because you've already got so much diversification in the style of attack of each creature. Whether they hit it once or multiple times, how fast they are. Not to mention the limited slots of creatures, it really does make it hard to make sure you have everything you need for a level. Limits the player's choice is what I'm getting at. And I'm big on player choice, like if I don't like the way that one of these creatures looks, I don't want to have to use it. And when you start adding complex stats, then you end up with that situation where you end up with the best creature for the job. And that takes away player choice as a result. I think instead of diverse statistical distributions, I'd really like to see this game allow more customization of each of the summoned creatures. So maybe allowing players to be able to select the number of attacks or weight the speed against the power, so we don't end up with static effects and best-in-slot creatures. Ice creature was stuck in the wall. Yeah, the game is playing a lot more smoothly since I first started playing in the early open access, early release, early access. Yeah, that. Load times are a little bit faster now. The flow of the game is good. I'm still getting used to the recent change where they originally, say if I summon a creature and I recall them, that orb would normally have come right back to me, but now in a recent update it floats up in the air for a second, holding its position, and then accelerates towards the player. And that does reduce the speed that you can swap out your creatures, because while your creatures are in play or the orb is returning to you, your stamina is not regenerating. So that really does limit the ability of your team when you're waiting for orbs to return, and then you have to wait for stamina to recover. And the developers balanced that by making it so when you summon one creature, it recharges the special abilities of all of the other creatures that you have on your team. So giving you more momentary power with those specials, reducing the frequency of your team in regular action. We'll just check around here to see if there's any more. There is. So it says vases, urns. And now we have Felwyn as, looks like 25% health. His RK is below half. So we'll see how much they heal at the end of this level. 2 fragments, that sure is nice. Now, I don't know about you, I didn't see any birds. That might be in the exclusive to the Ancestral Graveyard Zone. So I think that's where we will pick up next week. In the quest continues with a door. Looks like all of the creatures in my hotbar healed completely, so the limited healing must be something that only affects the creatures that are in the shrine, maybe? I think there's more testing to be done. But we can see that Felwyn has 56 hit points. At 25%, he was able to regenerate 40 hit points. And Kruth did not regenerate 40 every turn when he was cursed. So there could be 2 factors at play here. Creature types or creature level could affect their regeneration rate, or it could just simply be that cursed creatures regenerate slowly over time, so that you can't just do a direct team swap like I've been planning, is having 2 teams. Now with this slower healing progression, that kind of kiboshes that whole idea, because now it's going to take longer to heal up my characters. So now I'm actually going to need to build up a 3rd string, which means I'll need 1 more slot unlocked here just so I have room for any spare catches that I have. And our 3rd team, what will it be? We've got Nira, Fubu, and Bakiz. They're still in the lineup. Nira is a good fast attack DPS. Bakiz is sort of a armored, slow, but not a heavy hitter. Fubu, not quite a heavy hitter either. But I think we have the essence of a team. We just need something magical to go into our 3rd slot. But again, that will come in the next episode of The Quest Continues with a Door. Until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.